that will determine how far you have gone in this industry. That is executive presence. In the world of oil and gas and energy consulting, you will be sitting across the tables from the government ministers, oil and gas company CEOs, international investors. So technical knowledge gets you in a room, but executive presence determines whether they trust you with the decisions. And so let's break down this part. First of all, I want to say what executive presence is actually about. Executive presence is the ability to project credibility, inspire the confidence, and the command authority through the way you act and communicate and carry yourself. It's not about being the loudest person in the room, it is about being the most trusted one. It rests on three pillars, that is gravitas, communication, and appearance. So let me take you through these three one by one. First, the gravitas, the way and the substance you project. Communication, the clarity and the conviction with which you speak. And the appearance, the professionalism you present visually. In an industry where every single advisory mandate can be worth millions of dollars, clients choose consultant they trust. And the trust is built in large part through executive presence also. Now I will be taking you through one example. Imagine two energy consulting consultants pitching to a strategy team of a national oil and gas company. The first consultant is technically brilliant, but speaks too fast, avoids eye contacts, and gets uh, defensive when they are questioned about. The second person speaks with measured confidence, structured their arguments very clearly, and welcomes the tough questions and holds the room attentions throughout. But both have the same analytical skills, but only the second wins the mandate. That gap is the executive presence. So the impact uh, of executive presence in the oil and gas industry and the energy consultants. Just imagine your professional image carries enormous weight because you constantly interface with the senior stakeholders from upstream asset managers to the refinery heads or to the finance ministers to the sovereign wealth funds. An energy consultant who talks into or walks into the client meeting looking polished, speaking very precise, and carrying themselves with a quite authoritative, like immediately signals the competence and the reliability. In the consulting, you literally the are the product, and your presence is the part of what the client is paying for. Now, talking about the confidence and the communication. In energy consulting, communications is everything. You're constantly explaining complex concepts, crude oil hedging strategies, carbon mechanism, the LNG pricing structures to the audience that range from technical expert to government officials. Executive presence means you simplify without dumbing down. You speak with confidence even when discussing uncertain or the market outlooks. And you are comfortable seeing the data points in the directions, but here is the risk because the energy market certainly is rare. Then executive presence has a very good impact of leadership perceptions and the career growth. So in the energy consulting world, your career that progressions is directly tied to how client and the senior partners perceive your leadership readiness. Being technically excellent is the baseline. So every consultant at the top firm is analytically strong. What spares those from the partners from those who plateau is the executive presence. For someone building towards an energy consulting career, developing executive presence during your MBA is in presentations, in case discussions, in industrial visits or industrial interactions is one of the highest returns investment you can make. So at the last, I would say executive presence is learnable skill, but at the same time, the best time to develop it is right now during your MBA. So you can work on your postures, your voice, and your ability to structure the argument very clearly. And your composure under the pressure or your handling the pressure is the most important thing in executive presence. So, thank you for watching.